Hello.
Can you hear me?
Oh, let me see. Oh, no, I got you on.
Okay, perfect. And you can hear me, right?
Yep, I can hear you just fine. You look
Oh,
great.
I'm
I
in.
I absolutely love your glasses.
Do you? I get them from the Dollar Tree. It's like they're a buck and a quarter now.
Good, good.
But
Well,
I
it's
have like
beautiful.
yeah, I have like 20 of them all over the place. And you wouldn't believe with all those glasses that sometimes I just can't hear. I can't find any.
Well, they look absolutely amazing. Good
Thank
morning.
Good
Uh,
morning. And what is up with all that hair?
oh yeah, so like, all right. So this chick
You
is
grow hair
tired.
really fast.
No, it's magic. It's total magic, right?
Right.
So, I got tired of like managing my hair. So like I decided to buy bangs and like one of those clip-on
Yeah,
things,
yeah.
and it just makes my life so much simpler. I don't know why I didn't do it anytime earlier, but
Me, I just
that's
throw
me.
it all up in a ponytail on the top of my head. That's what I do. And
Beautiful.
I now understand why older women eventually cut it all off.
Oh, it gets so
Because
irritating, right?
yeah, but I don't like I like having my hair in a ponytail. I like my hair longer, but I did cut it so it's at my shoulders now instead of, whatever. But yeah, yeah. I've admired these women, but I don't like the boy cut. That's what I call it. I don't like
Yeah.
and probably because my mother did the pixie cut until I started school and started rebelling. So,
Oh, yeah. That I can understand that. So, I like growing my hair out. I'm now down to, like, shoulder length, and
yeah,
the
it looks
problem is
good.
I have super thin hair, so, it doesn't look good after that. So, you know what? I'm using wigs and fun things because I can.
Yes, you can. And that's the beauty of life, right?
Yeah, right?
Yeah, yeah. And the thing is right now I am putting effort into feeling joy,
Oh, good.
if that makes sense.
Yes, yes, I do understand that. Like, seriously, ever since about mid-40s, early 50s, it's
Yep,
all been focusing on joy. And I
exactly.
wanna, because we're live, I just wanna say welcome to everybody who's jumping in the live.
There's nothing.
We're live streaming in the Facebook, uh, uh perimenopausal and menopausal group. We're live streaming on my Facebook page, so welcome, and live streaming in YouTube right now. So welcome to the world of social media, and we're here today with my good friend Diane, and we're going to be talking about health and well-being for a little bit. Um, and specifically, we are discussing something around the root cause of about 90% of chronic illness that's plaguing humanity right now. Diane has been a very good friend of mine for over a decade and a half, like 15 years or so. And she is a medical researcher, and she's been doing that for 25 plus years.
27 now, yeah.
Wow. And
Yep.
I'm a nurse of over 30 years, and the two of us have collaborated on many different things and done a lot of transformational learning and stuff like that. So that's how I know Diane, and she's an amazing human being and a great friend who just like has a real handle on science and everything to do with research, which I respect immensely.
Thank you. Yeah, I've been yeah, I went back to college when I was older, in my 37 actually. And I started out with psychology, and then I ended up being in biology, which is totally different. But through my last 27 years, I've worked on studies, research studies for clinical products, both pharmaceuticals, medical devices, biotech, that sort of thing. And so when Chris approached me with this, and we approach each other with things all the time. And when she approached me with this, I was like, nah, 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 nah. And then she hit the insulin resistance, and I've been struggling with that for about 8 years now. And I went on metformin and had the most horrible year of my life. I
Yeah.
had digestive issues where I had to carry, you know, the tablets for Pepto Bismol. I had to carry Zofran, just to like not shit myself, you
Oh,
know, while I'm in public, you know. So it was awful. And so Chris approaches me 2 weeks after I went off my metformin. And she got to the insulin resistance, and I'm like, I'll do it. I don't know what it is. I'll do it. But she explained it all to me. I'm like, well, that's simple. And I went on it, and I just the very 24 hour within 24 hours I felt energy. Not a lot, but it was significant compared to what it had been the previous year. And each day it gets better and better, the energy. But I also, my glucose, when I first got diagnosed, it was like 400, my
wow.
glucose. Yeah. Yeah. They were like, get in here now before you die. And I went in, and I went, you know, it's just like I was shocked and I was scared. But this was like 8 years ago. And
Mhm.
and so I was struggling with it for like years and years, and refused to go on medication. And then when I finally did, I had a horrible result. And so since I've been on this, I mean, I've texted, my glucose yesterday was 167, I think it was, something like that. I texted you.
Mhm.
No, not 160. Yeah, 167. And but the other things, like I notice things all the time. My GI issues are resolved. Um, I I Chris taught me a little trick, because I'm a sugar addict. Just really pure and simple. I'm a sugar addict. And I she said, take a half of the balance before your usual binge, sugar binge at night. And it's always around like 5 to 7 o'clock at night. So I've been doing that. And yesterday my glucose went down to 136. And I
Wow.
was like, holy crap. It used to be up in the 400s. And even with managing it and paying attention to what I eat and exercise and everything, it wouldn't go down. But I like 200 was my, like, as long as I'm under 200, you know. And I just, but 136, like, I'm almost pre-diabetic. You know, that's
Yeah,
what I'm looking at.
my, so I'm not checking my blood sugars anymore. I'm actually gonna go get a continuous, blood glucose monitor just to see what's going on. Because you and me, we both like to biohack. We like to, like,
Yes.
figure out our
Yes.
bodies and what works for us, and I mean,
Yep.
things are different now than they were 20, 30 years ago, and that's because of all the hormone shifts and changes in our
Yep.
bodies as we age.
Yep. Yep.
And, I'm I what I noticed is in a month's time, I literally went from, a hemoglobin A1C of 5.7, which is pre-diabetic, to now I'm 5.5. So I'm actually no longer pre-diabetic, which is amazing because I thought I
Nice.
fixed my metabolic issues when I had the sleeve gastrectomy done over a year ago. but I was still pre-diabetic 12 months after having had that surgery. So I was really pissed off about that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and then so the protocol that Diane's talking about is what I shared with her, and it's simply we'll go through that in a little bit, but like Diane, how are you feeling?
Every day I'm feeling better and better. My energy, not only my energy, but my strength, if that's possible. And the more I do, the more I feel better. You
Mhm.
know, like and like that's the way the body works. That's the way the mitochondria works in our body. The more you do, it's sort of like nursing. The more the baby feeds, the more milk the mother produces, and the same with the muscles. The more you move them, the more mitochondria gets replenished, and then you have more and more energy with the more and more mitochondria. And it's beautiful because it's gardening time, and I love my garden. I'm expanding it this year because I have the energy. And
That's
I'm
good.
waiting to see how much energy I have and how much I get done, but I am really excited for this gardening season. So,
Well,
yeah.
I've noticed that too about the energy, and energy kind of begets energy, like you're saying, the
Yep.
as you do more, you feel better, you do more. It's like,
Yes.
yeah.
It's
So,
a vicious cycle, right?
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
finally, there's a vicious cycle that actually helps me.
Exactly. Instead of just destroying us, right? Yeah, vicious cycle.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah. But I mean, really, I text you every day with something new. Like yesterday, I mean, I got up at it was at 175, and then eventually it went down to like 136 yesterday. And I'm like, this is crazy because I noticed the glucose is coming down faster than it used to. Like before, and this is in the beginning of every time I start eating something different, I always do the glucometer. And I always see, okay, well, how fast does it go up? How fast does it come down? Like that total research scientist mode.
Yeah.
And so that's the fastest it's ever come down from 225 because I had eaten and it went up to 225 and it came down to 136 within a couple hours. Usually that's up there until I go to bed. Like usually my glucose goes up, 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 down, down, up, down, down, and then overnight it comes down.
Mhm.
But this was during the day. This was while I was actively between eating, and within my eating window. So I got really excited yesterday. Really excited.
I think, so the protocol is actually the thing is that there are a lot of medications, there are a lot of things that are on the market now that, like 1 in 8 people are taking the injections that help boost
Yeah.
GLP-1, which also decreases the, motility in the, intestines and decreases the ability to eat as much, which is great for many people, but unfortunately, I did try them and I got super ill on them, like super sick, could not tolerate that. And the doctors were like, "Here, take all these other medications to help mitigate these side effects from this medication." And I'm like,
No.
like,
Yep.
why would
No.
I do that? So, like, I decided that I didn't need to go in that direction. I thought that maybe me utilizing even microdosing, um, would help to maintain my weight loss from my surgery and maintain decreasing that food noise. And I'm talking about food noise, like Diane, you had self-proclaimed yourself a sugar addict. I feel as though I'm the same. Like in high school, uh I drank soda, a bag of chips, and a candy bar every day for
Yeah.
lunch. Like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, I live off of sugar, right? That's my whole
Yeah.
entire lifetime. Had no idea what I was doing to myself. Had no idea that I was turning on a bunch of um, uh, family genes that caused PCOS and all these other problems that I had.
Epigenetics, right?
Yeah, right.
Epigenetics is how you
So
treat your body, how you express your genes, right?
I
Yeah.
turned on all those genes that kind of shot me in the foot as I aged. So in my 30s and 40s, I had fatty liver disease, gestational diabetes, all pre-diabetes, all these things, and it all came from what I did in my adolescence and my 20s, which was eating basically sugar. Like I
Yep.
lived sugar.
Yep.
So
It provides
what
energy.
right. And incidentally, most of us, so 93% of us are metabolically unhealthy. 80% of us don't know it.
Yep.
90% of the chronic diseases that we're dealing with and the chronic symptoms we're dealing with in humanity are based in and rooted in insulin resistance, which starts with eating like we eat 70% of our diet consists of carbohydrates.
Yep.
Um, and the food industry that we're in now, over the last 50 years, we have about um, 340 different types of sugars in our bags, boxes, and
Yep.
barcodes. The foods that we purchase off of the shelf that have a high shelf life, high ultra processed foods, those all have these additives and um, um, emulsifiers and seed oils and sugars in
Oh,
them that just like destroy our metabolism and turn on these genes that cause these chronic illnesses that we're
yeah.
dealing with now, like the autoimmune diseases and
Yep.
cancers and high blood pressure and diabetes and kidney disease, fatty liver disease, all these things.
All
Shocking.
caused by our food. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the
And it's
thing
like,
is most people eat 90% or more of their diet, and I'm just that's my viewpoint. It's not statistics, it's not derived from anywhere, but I in my how I view people, they eat all day long and they eat processed foods like pretzels and crackers and all these processed carbs.
right.
And I used to do the same thing all day long. Pretzels, M&Ms, Skittles, whatever.
Yep.
But the thing is, over the years, because I lost, I'm like 410. My ideal weight is like 92 to 104. I'm right
Mm.
at 104 right now, and I'm trying to keep it. I'm trying to gauge like how to do this so because I'm within my ideal weight. I can stand to lose another 10 pounds, and I can
I'm in the same place. I'm at my
yeah,
ideal weight.
and I don't want to give this stuff up because of my blood sugar, so I'm playing with what can I do, like how much food can I eat, how much exercise, and I'm getting a real good balance. But I've been doing this ever since before I lost 35 pounds, which was quite like over 30% of my weight at the time. So basically that's what you call biohacking. Like I figure out what works for my body. And yeah, so I'm trying to stay on this, not lose too much weight, but have my glucose come all the way down. And that's what it's doing. I've never seen 136. Never
Yeah.
seen it.
So this is the thing is the protocol is two plant-based products and one practice. Now, what's really great about this is a lot of people utilize this to either lose the inches that they're looking to lose, losing the weight without loss of muscle mass,
Right.
which is really important, and we're
Yep.
going to talk about that a little bit. But the other thing that people do is people that are maintaining their weight loss, like Diane and myself, we're maintaining our weight loss by utilizing the protocol to keep our insulin levels down, to keep our insulin sensitivity high. Ultimately, that will keep our blood glucose down, even if we eat things that we love, like sugar, which I'm not saying that you should continually eat sugar and you'll be okay. I'm saying, like, let's be real. People will drink an alcoholic beverage every now and then. People will put
Cough.
sugar and coffee and creamer together. Let's be real. Uh, we're still going to grab the candy bar or the Skittles every now and then. Like, that's going to happen. But how do we mitigate what that does in our body? How do we decrease the damage that that can do? And that's what the protocol is for.
Right. And also I've noticed that I don't my cravings for sugar are not as strong.
Right? That's
Right?
that's one thing I've seen. I've seen my cravings drop.
Yeah.
That food noise, like, seriously,
Yep.
I don't know about you, Diane, but, like, I can literally go into somebody's house, and the first thing I see, like, out of everything going on in their house, it's the candy bowl.
And my eyes keep going to it. Like the whole time I'm there, wherever it
That's
is.
called
It's like,
food noise. I don't
oh,
know what that is other than food noise. It's like literally my body, my eyes, my
yep,
senses are my
I'm
spidey
drawn to
senses
it.
are
Yeah.
drawn to sugar. Just like
Yeah.
that, right?
Yep.
So
And
that's
I
called
was tell
food noise,
yeah, and like I have had this since I was literally since I was born. I'll
right?
be 70 years old in June. So that means I was born in 1955 when they were giving sugar water to the newborns.
They're still
I
doing
don't
that.
know if they can tell. Are they still doing that?
Yeah, they still do that in the neonatal intensive care unit. They will give these neonates sugar water to actually help with pain management because they do a
Oh
lot
yeah,
of
sugar. Yeah.
things to these babies.
Yeah.
And but they don't realize that has a
Sets
lifetime
them up for
issue.
life. It sets them up for sugar addiction the rest of their life because I still battle it. And
Yeah, I'm
I'll
in the
be
same boat.
95 years old and still battling it because
Yes.
it's an addiction is an addiction. Just
Yeah,
like heroin or anything else.
right.
Like once you're an addict, you're always an addict and there's ways to manage it. But
Right.
that propensity to grab those Skittles, that's like pure. Oh, my favorite candy is Smarties. Pure
Hell
sugar.
yeah.
Pure
Pure sugar.
sugar. Like,
Along with additives
yes,
and
yes.
chemicals and freaking stuff that actually has been designed. So the food industry designs food
I know.
around these additives that have you craving more of it.
Like the nicotine companies, right? When they were adding nicotine
It's the
to the
same
cigarette.
thing, right? There's this book called Metabolical that I read from Dr. Robert Lustig. He was a pediatric endocrinologist, and he
Oh,
writes
nice.
about who is sleeping with who inside of the pharmaceutical industry and the food industry. And scary enough, the American Diabetic Association, right? This book
Oh,
just
yeah.
blows my
They've had
mind, right? Blows
yes.
my mind. And he talks about that. Plus, there's another doctor, David Ludwig. He wrote a book called Always Hungry. I read this
Yeah.
book 15 years ago because I was like always hungry. And
Yep.
he talks in here about what what the food industry is doing and hijacking us. What they do is they
Yes.
decrease they remove the fiber in the food.
Yep. The
Removing the
healthy fiber.
fiber,
The
yeah,
healthy fiber.
right, because in nature, sugar is enveloped in a natural substance called fiber. So when you look at what that table sugar that we have is actually um, this fiber that you can barely even chew that grows in the Caribbean, and it's called sugar cane. And it's enveloped in this fiber. So human beings have learned how to extract the sugar um, from the fiber and give us this like mainline sugar, right?
And it
Instead
lights up
of
all those pleasure centers in your brain, just
right
like
dopamine,
heroin and just yep, exactly.
serotonin, all that stuff, and it like hijacks our brain.
Yes.
But if we eat things with fiber, like
Yes.
an apple or an
Yes.
orange, it's
Yes.
enveloped in fiber. If we do that, we actually decrease the amount of glucose that ends up in
Absorb.
our blood sugar that's absorbed. So, the way food was actually presented in nature is actually the way it should be eaten.
Yep.
And what we've done um, to decrease satiety, which means we want more of it and we want it more frequently, is the food industry has taken the fiber out of the
Yeah.
food, right?
Yeah.
And so our blood sugars soar super high, which actually causes our insulin to be secreted at a higher level too. And insulin can take up to 3 to 4 hours to decrease in our
Yes.
bodies.
Yes.
So the reason why I'm talking about insulin is the more insulin we have in our body, the more our cells decrease their sensitivity to insulin, which also increases the amount of insulin that's in our body and stays in our body longer.
Yep.
Insulin
Stays in the
is
blood.
a
Yes, it does.
insulin is a growth hormone that
Yeah.
only when it's present at high levels in our body, the only thing we can do is store the sugar that's in our body
Yep.
instead of utilizing the storage of fat that's in our body. So, people that are looking to lose weight or lose inches, not just weight, but inches,
Inches.
if you
Fat.
want to if you want to eat your love handles, the point of this is to lower the insulin in your body.
And also autography. Speak about autography.
Okay, so
Autophagy.
there's this thing called autophagy. And what autophagy is the body has this natural mechanism to break down things that are not working in our body. Let's say there's like broken mitochondria, these the powerhouses of the cell. When they start to lose their effectiveness, the body will break down those mitochondria. They'll break down all the things that are not working, or like the
Working.
cellular debris, or like
Yep.
things that are like bad, like cancer cells and stuff like that
Yep.
in our
Yep.
body. They'll break down all these things. It's called autophagy. So you'll
And it
see,
gets rid of all the damaged cells and it cleans everything up. But when
right?
we when we continuously eat, that doesn't happen because it's basically so busy processing the food and all that that it doesn't clean up like it does when we fast. And usually we
Yeah.
fast 8 hours when we go to sleep, right?
Yep.
But most people, when they wake up for the next 16 hours, they're creating an insulin response by putting something in their mouth that has carbs in it, right?
Yes. So if you only eat fat, you will, and or a
Protein.
fiber that has no other carb in it,
Yep.
because your body can't absorb, humans can't absorb fiber. Um,
Right.
the the uh, the non-human cells that are in our intestines are the only thing that can eat fiber. We can't eat it. So we have a symbiotic relationship with a bunch of
Right.
bacteria that's in our
Right.
colon and our lower intestines that actually eat the fiber, which then they create these really magical beans called short chain fatty acids, which
Yes.
I call them like fairies. And they go about fixing anything that's broken in our body. It's like the coolest thing
They
in the
have
world. But
magic wands and they go
they
all
have
over
magic,
our and
they
they
go
go
around fixing the problems in our body. And it's called, the problems are the chronic symptoms, that chronic inflammation, chronic illnesses that
Yep.
we have generated in our bodies. These short chain fatty acids go around and like fix them.
Yes.
That that's
Yes.
the easiest way. But anyway, autophagy is this cool thing that happens to us. So like a lot of my weight loss surgery girlies out there that lost 100, 200, 300, sometimes 400 pounds through weight loss surgery, they have this saggy skin. And people who lose
Oh,
weight rapidly
yes.
through the injections that are out there,
Uh-huh.
they have this thing called saggy skin. But
Yes.
if you've used the power of autophagy to in intermittent fast or even longer fast, um,
Yeah, like
you
skip
will
breakfast
not
and eat at
have,
noon. Yeah.
yeah, you will not have that saggy skin because your body will eat its skin
Yes.
as you lose the weight, which I did not know that until after I'd lost 100 pounds and realized, or 95 pounds.
Yeah, and you're
Um,
looking at your skin going, "Where is it?"
oh, well, I still have some saggy skin because I
Yeah.
didn't do intermittent fasting to lose the weight. I know that you had done intermittent fasting
Yes.
to lose the weight, but I
I
was
still
not.
have the wings though, and I also have crepey skin, which I texted you about yesterday. Like I'm going to
Mhm,
be 70, so I have crepey skin, which is
mhm,
disgusting, you know? And I just resigned myself to it about 6 months ago. And then you pop up with this stuff and I'm going, yesterday like like I'm sitting there and I'm like looking down at my legs and I'm like, where is the crepey skin? I mean, it's smooth.
mhm.
I mean, it's not all the way gone, but it was like 80% gone. And
Yeah.
I'm like, and I had to text you. I'm like, oh my God. And this like so when I get to be 80 and 90, I won't have to have all this ugly crepey skin, which I think that for me, my opinion again, but I won't have to have all this crepey skin, and I'm like a walking billboard here eventually, you know, where
This is the
like
thing. I wanna talk a few minutes about what you did to lose weight,
okay,
which is the, intermittent fasting. Now, I read this guy's book, Always Hungry, and I read Dr. Fung's work,
Dr.
Obesity
Fong.
Code.
Yep,
He's a, nephrologist, a kidney doctor from Canada who,
yep,
famously talks about intermittent fasting, and I did do intermittent fasting and keto back
yep,
in about 10, 15 years ago. And I found myself to be hungry, hangry, craving more carbs, and then caving into carbs
yep,
even more.
yep,
It was like a
yep,
vicious circle.
yep,
So I found it to be unsustainable. So
yes.
you
Long term,
you
long
did
term.
long term unsustainable, but one thing that I've found with this protocol is that my intermittent fasting is now sustainable.
Yes. Yes, and I was talking t like, I was in a hospital in Brooklyn a few weeks ago, end of February, and I was telling Dr. Kessel, the doctor that was running the study, about this, And he's like, "Oh, I tried intermittent fasting. I was starving." And I'm like, "I know, right?" And so my friend showed me this product, and I told him about it, and I said, "And then it's all the fiber." He goes, "Oh, well, there's a game changer."
Yep.
Like right there, that was his problem, was sustaining intermittent fasting. And I'll tell you what, like some days I eat, like I forget, and it's like fine, but I'm on this protocol, so I'll just pick up tomorrow. You
Yeah.
know, that's my thinking now, instead of the noise, like scared to death that I'm going back up 35 pounds, and because it gets uncontrollable. You
Yep.
know, I mean, one time I had all the sugar removed from the house. And then I was freaking out because I'm like, I
You
want
needed your fix.
sugar.
You
I
need your
needed
fix.
my freaking fix like I was a heroin addict. I went
Hmm.
out to the car and I dug into the little thing between the seats, and there was a peppermint, you know, one of those circular red and white peppermints,
Lifesavers.
hard candy, and I bit down and broke a tooth.
Oh my gosh.
I broke a freaking tooth
Broke a
because
tooth for your
I
sugar fix.
because of my sugar craving. And I mean, I was like, I was like the Cookie Monster.
I
Like, oh my
totally
god.
relate. I can totally relate. I remember being in a drive-through line at a Taco Bell, and I think it was taking about 10 minutes to get my Taco Bell. And my blood sugar was so low because that's what happens, like, when you are
Yeah.
a sugar addict and you eat the sugar, and then the sugar glucose goes up high in your body, but then the insulin secretes at a higher level, and then you crash, and your blood sugar gets so low, and then you're craving, miserable, hangry. I like broke out in tears waiting for my food. I was literally crying in the Taco
So
Bell line
embarrassing, right?
because, and I'll never forget it because I was literally crying
Yep.
because my blood
That
sugar was so low and I was so hungry and hangry.
yep. Yep. Yep.
That I mean, like, it's crazy stuff like that we've gone through in our lives, knowing the kind of sugar issues that we've had. But all
Yeah.
right, I'm gonna talk a little bit about the protocol because I know
Okay,
that that's
perfect.
something people are interested in.
Yes.
We've talked about a little bit about like how we've gotten here, the sugar cravings, the ultra processed food. But the thing that we haven't really talked about is what we've been taught to do. How many of you have heard the old adage that breakfast is the most important meal of the day?
Yes. Which is a lie.
It's actually a lie. It's a lie. Mr. Kellogg wanted to sell you breakfast cereal,
Yep.
and that's where that whole thing came from. You know that whole um, uh, the whole diamond industry sharing about how 2-3 months of a salary is what you need to pay for a diamond to stick on your beloved's finger.
Otherwise, you don't love her enough.
Right, yeah, a, a kiss begins with K, but like these things,
Jared.
this is all in the advertising industry.
Yes. Yes.
So, and then another thing that many people have been taught. How many people have been taught that, I don't know if you can see this, but yeah, how many people have been taught to eat 6 small meals a day? How many people have been taught that it's important to eat tiny meals throughout the day so that you
Grazing.
can keep your blood sugar up and keep your metabolism going? That's actually false. It's
Yes.
false information. There's a guy, Dr. Benjamin Bickman. He wrote a book called Why We Get Sick, and he is one of the laboratory professors at BYU. He's a metabolic scientist, and he studies why we get sick. And in here, he discusses the what they call the pathophysiology of insulin resistance. Why we're discussing this protocol is because it reverses insulin resistance. So, a couple of things that we are doing in our body every day that's basically killing us is we're eating so frequently that we're jacking our blood sugar up and jacking up
Yep.
our insulin levels all the time and making ourselves more and more sick with insulin resistance. And the reason why insulin resistance is so dangerous is like 93% of us are metabolically unhealthy from insulin resistance. We don't even know it, which is really scary. And I'm going to show you this picture as soon as I can find it. This one, okay, so insulin resistance is the core or the core reason for all these inflammation and all these disease processes that are in our bodies that we're dealing with. So I'll read them off. Heart disease. My brother died of heart disease 2 years ago. He had a big heart attack at 57. Obesity. I suffered from obesity, and so did a lot of my aunts throughout my body, throughout my family history. Migraines. I started having migraines at 14 years old. I thought it was because I was female. I thought it was related to all the other aunts that have had migraines. Actually, it's insulin resistance. Dementia. My mother is suffering with dementia, and most of my aunts in my family have suffered from dementia. Osteoarthritis. That's actually insulin resistance. And arthritis. That's insulin resistance. That's not because your grandmother had it. Childhood obesity. 40% of our children in the United States have obesity. PCOS. I thought that was related to my family history. No, it's because of all the sugar that I ate in my adolescence. But I was diagnosed with PCOS in my 30s. Fatty liver. That's actually related to insulin resistance. It isn't because of any other reason. Um, Arthritis, we talked about that. Alzheimer's disease. Alzheimer's disease wasn't even heard of 50 years ago.
Now, since I'm going to be 70, right? I mean, there have been so many different cycles of deflecting us from the real cause of diabetes and being told the whole time there is no cure for diabetes.
Yeah, but actually it's reversible. Erectile
Exactly.
dysfunction. Did you know, Diane, there are 30-year-old men with ED now?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, just take a pill. Just take a pill. And 15 minutes later, that's all fixed. Oh, just take a pill. Yeah, there's problems with those pills. Sarcopenia, which is the loss of muscle mass. So I'm just going to share for a quick moment. I am not for or against the injections that 1 out of 8 people are taking now, but I just want people to be aware of 40% of the weight loss that happens on these GLP-1 injectables that people are taking. 40% of the weight loss is from muscle mass. And when you're in your perimenopausal, menopausal years, losing muscle mass is detrimental to not only your metabolic health, but you will rarely add that muscle back. And the more muscle mass that you lose in your elderly years, the higher incidences of uh, falling and breaking your hips. Falling and breaking
Balance.
your hip and balance are the number one reasons why your health will decline rapidly and you end
Yep.
up in the grave
Yep.
after the age of 70.
Yeah,
high
and I
blood
I do
pressure.
wanna add in here, I
Yeah.
did buy a rebounder, a mini trampoline for that reason. It also, drains the lymphatic system, which
Yes.
is really good for your health. So, like, the weight bearing exercises, like I do dumbbells, I do like even the rebounder, that's exercising all the muscles I don't. And then when I'm getting my when I'm heating up my morning oatmeal, I will do exercises in front of the microwave that like and it, like the squats and the all that, so that and my butt muscles are getting bigger. I mean,
That's
and it's so
important.
good. It's so good to see that, you know.
You don't realize, like, so what's really big in now is like the big butt or whatever.
Oh,
But
I
the
think
bottom
that's
line is,
ridiculous, though.
I know
No,
it's really
I had a
ridiculous to me.
flat butt. Like I had, like I could have stood against a wall and been like, "That's my butt," you know.
Me and my husband call my flat butt pancake butt because
There
it's
you
like
go.
that. But
Yep. Yeah, but I hated that because I was in gymnastics when I was a kid. Started at 9 years old.
mhm.
And I know what a healthy body feels like, you know. I know how it feels when your body does what you want. And it takes training.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, it took years and years and years of training. But the training itself, like I remember coming home in like seventh grade and doing stretches for hours because my goal was to do a split. And my goal was
Mhm.
to spread my legs and lay down on the floor, like my whole body on the floor in
Yeah.
front of me. Like I was able to do, and it's like at this age, it's crazy because I used to think it was funny, and I think thought it was cute when older people like I am now would talk about how they were great dancers and things like that. And I'm like, I want to get back there. Is that is that really possible?
It
But
absolutely is. If you go on to YouTube and check out, there's like a 105-year-old woman who does yoga every day. She's from
yes,
France.
I,
And she's, longevity, she's
yep,
got strength, and she's got flexibility. And it
yeah,
all comes from yoga. And it is possible even at 70 to start weight training and and doing really well. You could go ahead and take gymnastics, like, there's no reason why you can't.
right,
So funny how people are like, they're in this mindset of like,
yep,
"Oh, now I'm 55 and I can't do this." No, that's BS. There's nothing
yep.
nothing stopping you from doing the things that you wanna do in your life.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
except for willingness. You have to be willing, and that's
You
it.
gotta be willing.
Yep.
So the other thing that I was gonna share on, with, the core issues of insulin resistance, the diseases that are brought on by insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes, stroke, and high blood pressure. People talk, it's like you get to a certain age, you go to your primary care doctor and it says, "Happy birthday, here's your statin." Statins cause insulin resistance.
Yep. Yep.
Statins are not really beneficial to anyone unless you've already had a heart attack.
And also, I had a friend, like I'm in the pharmaceutical industry, and I had a friend that was a sales for statins, and they kept doing studies because they wanted to prove a link between being on a statin and fewer heart attacks, and they could
Mhm.
never prove it. So you get a statin to lower your cholesterol, which studies have proven it doesn't do anything for heart attacks.
No, it doesn't. And here's the thing about when you lower your ability for your body to create cholesterol, did you know all your hormones are created by cholesterol? Did you know that the sheath or the thing that covers all of our nerves throughout our body, including our
Myelin sheath.
brain,
Yeah, the
it's all
myelin sheath.
cholesterol.
Yeah.
It's all cholesterol. So there's
Yeah.
this huge uptick in dementia and Alzheimer's about the same time that the statins came around.
Yeah. Yeah.
You, like
FAFO, right?
right? Like, let's think about this for a moment. Like, there is no reason to be on a statin because actually, if you eat fiber and you focus on intermittent fasting and you decrease your insulin resistance, you will not have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, type 2 diabetes. You just won't have it.
Yep. If you give your body enough time off from digestion, you give your body a time to heal itself.
Mm-hmm. To
Not
do
even a
that
lot.
autophagy, to do
Yeah.
the things that the body is known how to do, if you feed the the microbes in your gut enough fiber,
Yep.
soluble fiber,
Yep.
and let me tell you something, what makes this protocol so easy is it's two food
So,
products.
yep.
One is a high chlorogenic acid tea, which keeps your body insulin sensitive. It keeps your body insulin sensitive and it lowers your blood sugar. That's what the chlorogenic tea does, and it's created by the yerba mate plant. The second one is called Balance, and it is seven. It's a patented formula of 7 soluble fibers that envelop the food that you eat to keep the glucose absorption super low. So it is an insulin reducing or glucose reducing
Right.
protocol. And
So
what
that's why you told me to take like a half a balance before my nightly binge, sugar
yeah,
binge.
right? So like that's actually, and when you get going even farther into the protocol as the months go on, you can actually tolerate, many people will take 2 packets of Balance in a daytime. in a
Wow.
in
Okay.
in a 24-hour period. But anyway, let's just talk about the simple protocol. Here it is. We skip breakfast because breakfast is not the most important meal of the day. We skip breakfast.
Propaganda.
Right, right. And then at lunch, we just eat our regular lunch. Whatever it is, you can go ahead and eat it. If that's the biggest meal of your day, then you would take the Balance at that point. You would take the fiber matrix at that point. You can either take a half of a packet, which is what I started with because my gut biome was jacked.
Good.
It was a mess.
Yeah, mine
Um,
too.
then I don't snack at all. And then I eat my evening meal, which is usually my biggest meal of the day, and then I'll take the fiber. So like wherever your biggest meal of the day is, some people's
Right.
biggest meal is lunch, so they take the fiber then. Some people's biggest meal of the day is dinner and they take the fiber then. I am a sleeve girl. I had a sleeve gastrectomy, so I actually eat 3 meals in my 8-hour window, not two. And the reason why is I can't get enough nutrients in.
Right.
So I I have been working with my my protocol, and I'm doing 3 meals in my 8-hour window, and then I don't eat after my last meal. That's it. I can drink water or whatever, but I drink my chlorogenic tea twice a day, morning, and then mid-afternoon I will drink this, and it literally kills off my cravings. It kills off my need for food. Um, it
And your noise and
yeah,
that food noise.
the food noise is much lower, and it boosts my natural hormone GLP-1 by up to 60%. It
Nice.
lowers the protocol lowers my blood sugars 30 to 40%.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
shocking.
It is shocking. Remember, like yesterday, I just had to tell you. I had to tell you I'm down to 136 because I had just told you how fast it had come down from 200 when I ate my morning meal,
Yep.
and but I came down to like 170, I think, and I was like, yay! And then like a couple hours later, it was 136. I'm like, it's actually that's a reversal of my insulin resistance
Yep.
because I saw that was the first time since I've started using the glucometer that I have seen that happen and it reversed that quickly, like it come down that quickly. Just amazing.
That blows my mind.
Uh, like wow, like totally wow. I mean,
So, one of
yeah.
the
Then
things that people are going to want to know is how can they get a hold of this protocol? How can they actually do this protocol thing?
well, you go to a person's page that invited you or that you're connected to with this, and you order your first kit, I guess you could call it, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And
So,
then it arrived, and then mine just arrived like 3 days later because I replenished. So I was like, I always have to have a backup in the house now because I never want to run out. Like
yep,
I don't even want, like, I am a biohacker. I do check things, but I don't want to test to see like what happens if I go off of this for a few days, because it's just, and I know it'll be fine, but I don't want to slow the progress. I mean, I'm seeing so much now, and I forget the date that I started. I have it in my phone. I have it recorded in my phone the day I started. And I think it was about a month ago because
cool.
I'm almost out of my stuff. So my first kit. But yeah,
So
this is cool to watch.
the cool thing about the kit is it's about $5 a day. And some people are like, ooh, $5 a day. Ooh, that's really expensive. Well, if you are actually
Starbucks.
intermittent fasting, not eating breakfast and you're not snacking, that's like
Save.
cost neutral.
Yes, if not beneficial, right? Because most people go to Starbucks, get like a $10. I don't go to Starbucks. I think that's a waste of money. So and I don't drink a lot of coffee either because I always watch what I put in my mouth. But you even say it's a $5 cup of coffee at Starbucks, and then they get a muffin or whatever. So you're talking like $10 to $20 in the morning for the meal that you're going to be skipping.
Yep. Yep.
So you're making out you're saving more money than you're spending
Yep.
on the product. So yeah, it's uh, mind blown. Yeah,
Yeah, it's mind-blowing.
absolutely.
It's mind-blowing because it's simple, it's it's doable, and it works within what we're dealing with. And the cool thing is um this doesn't interact with any medications. The thing is I lost 2 inches around my hips the first month, and I was off 2 of my medications by starting this protocol within a month. That's yeah, I'm off metformin, no longer pre-diabetic, and I am
I'm
off
catching
my
up.
anti-reflux drug.
Yeah, yeah, I'm catching up. I mean, I'm off the metformin, but I wasn't going back to that. But yeah, and I'm my insulin, my glucose is coming down. I'm like so I have no, like, I have words, but the words do not convey the surprise and the shock, the good shock, that I have felt over the past month since you came over and brought me my first kit.
Awesome.
So yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
Diane has a couple of her own kits available. So get with Diane, connect with her. If you're friends of hers, then you know how to connect with her. And if not, you can certainly grab from her socials and connect with her. She's got some physical boxes available. If for some odd reason you don't, I did stick her link in this live that you can just click on, and you can go to her website and purchase this protocol. Now, the cool thing about this protocol is there's a 90-day money back guarantee. So let's say in 90 days, you don't like the weight loss, you didn't like your blood sugar normalizing, you didn't like the insulin resistance removed, or your chronic illness symptoms dissipating, you can get your money back. Like the manufacturer will give you your money back. It's that simple. And after I had spent $875 to find out in 2 weeks' time that the GLP-1 injection that I was taking wasn't working for me, I didn't get any of that money back. Not one penny. And all that metformin that you bought at the store, at the pharmacy, did they give you any of your money back for that?
No, no, not at
No, they
all.
didn't. No.
No, it's all theirs now.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
well, Diane, it's been a
Thank you.
wonderful time talking with you.
Yeah.
Please let me know how all the other great things start, happening in your body.
Oh,
I
I will.
love
I'll be texting
hearing.
you every day. I noticed something different, like the crepey skin yesterday. It took a few weeks, but I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah,
That was a
yeah.
total surprise. So, yeah,
Well,
that's
they
the
they
one thing
they
about getting
call it
old is the looking old.
they call it the feel great system for a reason.
Oh, I definitely feel great. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Thank
All
you.
right. Well, thanks a lot for coming on the live with me today. And like I said, if you have any questions, if you've seen this video and you have questions, just put them in the comments. We'll be happy to answer questions for you. And I hope you have yourself a great day, Diane.
Thank you, Chris.
Thanks. Bye.